Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you actually get these convolutional codes from this VGG network. So the idea is we're going to take each of the images in this flower data set and run it through the convolutional layers and get out our code from the first fully connected layer. So this is code that's copied from the source code of TensorFlow VGG. So what happens is the network takes an image that's 244 by 244 by 3, and then runs it through this convolutional layers. So we can see here we have like 2 convolutional layers, max pooling, 2 conv layers, max pooling, then 3, and then 3, and then 3. And then finally, after all that, we get our fully connected layer, and then that's passed through ReLU activation. So it's actually these values here that we want to get out. And so basically like this network was trained using these ReLUs. And so when we get the codes, we want to also use these ReLUs just to, it'll improve our performance. So building the network is pretty straightforward. So you just create this VGG object and create your input placeholder, and then VGG.build. So what this does is it actually like builds a network, it builds the graph in TensorFlow, which you can use later. And I found like you only want to build this once. Like, so what happens if you run VGG.build multiple times, you just keep adding like all these nodes to your graph, and eventually you just have too many. So in this notebook, you want to be sure to only like run build just once in the whole thing. Otherwise, like you'll get an error and you have to like restart the notebook. Okay, so once we have built the network, built the graph, then we just want to get the codes from, like I was saying, like from this layer, ReLU6. So you just do session.run, ReLU6, and feed it your dictionary with images and get your codes. So this part is pretty simple, but when you actually like have to go through the code to do all this, it actually takes a bit of work to get everything kind of set up. So I'm gonna do most of that, but I'll have you implement this part and the code where we're getting our convolutional codes out. Okay, so here just importing the things. Utils is from TensorFlow VGG, and this contains some nice functions like loading images and that kind of thing. And then here I'm just loading the data. So basically I'm just our data is in flower photos, and then each of the images is like each class. So there's like 5 different classes. There's like sunflowers, daisies, roses, etc. So I'm just getting just listing all the contents in our data directory and getting the classes. So here is what you'll be doing down here. So first you're going to build the VGG network. So you're going to initialize the class and actually build it. And then down here is where you're going to get the codes from the ReLU6 layer. So the way this code works is I wrote it so that you're actually running batches through the network. So it's looking through each file and it's appending images to like some batch. And then we can concatenate the batch into an array of images, and then you can pass that images, you can feed the images into your VGG network to get the ReLU6 codes. This is where we're loading the image. So what this actually does, the images that we have aren't 244 by 244, which is what this network expects. So what this does is it just crops out the center part of an image. So if the image is bigger than 244 by 244, then it crops out the center to get that size of image. So there's other ways to do this, which are maybe better. You can scale your original image down to the size that it expects, or like some other way to like figure out how to get your original image, your input images into the right shape for the network. And this is sort of what you have to do anytime you're doing transfer learning, because like all of these convolutional networks were trained on some original size of images, and like you have to use the same size when you're doing transfer learning. So I think it's pretty common to scale your images down. In this case, I'm just letting it crop it, and it worked fine in this case, but you might get better results if you scale your images. Okay, so I will let you build the network here, fill in this code, and fill in this code down here. Okay, good luck. And if you get stuck on this, or if you want to see how I did it, like I'll have a solution video for you.